1 second to live. Hello, everyone. Actually, I said that on live. I said that. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the season finale of season 4 of Just a Pay Night, which is a weekly show that we've been putting on for many years now.
We used to do it
We
daily,
used to do it
but that's
every day.
insane.
And then
Don't
we did
do
it
that.
2 or 3 times a week, and then we did it once a week because our lives ended up ramping up after the pandemic. But I am Scary, your grateful host. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us today. But this is the weekly show where we hang out with amazing hobbyists and people from all around the world and different walks of life, and we chat and we sit and we sometimes paint and discuss a variety of different topics. Of course, Tanya, my wonderful co-host, hello.
Oh, whoa.
And today, an amazing, very special guest, Brent from Goobertown Hobbies. Hello, Brent.
Hello, I am happy to be here. So you're
I'm
talking about doing this show every day, but I'm told that I'm the last episode, the final episode.
Final episode. You are that important. We had to
Oh
finish,
my
cap it off
goodness.
with you. Very, very excited. We'll be going, of course, talking to chat. We'll be discussing painting and whatnot, and I'm really excited. Today, what am I working on? I'm going to be working on doodads. That's what I'm going to be working on. I've got this doodad, which is a little shrine, like a Sisters of Battle shrine thing, or an objective-y shrine. That's what I'm going to be working on. I've also got incubi that I'm going to be working on, and I'm working on these little thingies, which are like, I don't know, little, you know, projector
They're like power
force field.
generators or something.
Yeah, like
You
force
got your
field
electric
projectors.
fence there.
Correct. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like an electric fence thing. And these are mostly because I've been playing a lot of games and having little game things like this that just add character to the gaming immersion is fantastic. And I literally have like 3 boxes of just crap now. Like just little things. They can be like ammo crates or like barrels
Yeah.
or just
I have
random
like a
stuff.
shoebox, like
Mhm.
this big.
Mhm.
It's just full of that stuff
Mhm.
because like it all came with Zone Mortalis too.
Yep.
So yeah.
And it's
Mhm.
nothing crazy, and I never really appreciated it so much until I started working with mini wargaming, and they have like boxes of just random stuff, and they're like, I need objectives. I'm like, well, we've got objectives. Nah, that's boring. Let's use these like crystal things. I'm like, ooh, that's cool. And then you like theme it. Yeah, it's just really fun. So I've taken a step on that. So Tanya, what are you working on today?
So I am working on Rothkorn's man trappers, and specifically, I'm working on his kitty cat today. So I'm gonna
Meow.
be working on the leather straps, and
You're
if I
not
get done that,
strapped
which
for
I
time, are you?
probably shush you, um, but if I happen to get the straps done, then I'll start working on like skulls and bases and teeth and
Ooh. Ooh.
stuff.
Well, that's
Yeah.
exciting. That's really
Mhm.
exciting. Hello, Sindri. Hello, Caltet. Hello, Soontir. Hello, Warwick. Hello, Mr. Fish. Happy Friday. Stream of fantastic people. Feeling a trend of hearts. I know, it is a trend. We
Aw,
bring
that
awesome
is like
people
the
onto the show.
cutest
I
emoji.
know. It's like a little
Oh,
heart
I love
getting
it.
hugged. It's
I know,
adorable.
he's so excited.
Which is awesome. Okay, Brent, what are you working on? Because you are like, if anybody doesn't know, Brent has a YouTube channel. So make sure you check that out. Called Goobertown Hobbies. You recently
That's the one.
participated in a really cool cinematic battle report, which I don't think the battle rep's been released yet, but the making of the armies. Like I really enjoyed that like montage video you did of like painting the space lizards and like going through different color schemes. Oh, it was great. So why don't you tell us who you are if people haven't heard about you, where from, where people can find you, and what are you working on today?
All right. Yeah, so I'm Brent. I run the channel Goobertown Hobbies. It's mini painting, among other things, mostly mini painting. I am calling you now from Maine in the United States. That's where I live. That's where the the Goobertown studio is,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
today doing a little bit of assembly on some Conquest minis. These are the Nord's Bow Chosen. Um, it's a plastic kit from Conquest Last Argument of Kings, and it is the best kit I've seen from them so far. The bits are all
Ooh.
fitting together very nicely, and they're they're looking like real serious mature models now. So
I did
it's a
like
good thing.
a couple of years ago. I got a couple of those Conquest minutes shipped to me that I had to send to like the Falcon for some frontline gaming thing they were doing.
Hmm.
And this even back then, I guess that was I was surprised with how good the quality was of the miniatures, to be honest. You know, for being like
Yeah,
a
I mean, there's
multi-part plastic kit, you know?
right, right. I mean, plastic is kind of the hardest material to make models out of. It takes the biggest startup cost, and there is a ton of expertise that goes into making plastic models. And they started off. I'd call a lot of their early kits like Bs, like A B C D E F. I'd
Mm-hmm.
call a lot of them Bs, maybe some B pluses in there. They were okay. Like it was cool that they were getting multi-part plastic
Mm-hmm.
kits.
Mm-hmm.
Happens like if you had a sprue of dwarfs and there'd be like two of the same arm on the sprue, like there'd be two of the exact same axe on a single sprue. So like if you're paying all that money to make a mold for a sprue, like pay the extra $50 to have your your sculptor change the design of the axe so you get two different axes on the sprue. But
Yeah.
um but anyway, that was like 5 years ago. They've definitely been learning and growing and improving in that time and releasing new factions. And yeah, their models are definitely getting better. So I'm now quite excited for the Conquest line.
That's awesome.
Getting some
Well, that
models
sounds
ready to go.
fantastic. I'm what did I not grab? I did grab water. Ha! Look at that. I was prepared today. Excellent. Excellent. Although the other day I totally dipped my paintbrush into my tea.
Just extra flavor.
Totally did. So what's the best way to get involved with you, Brent? Do you have like a Patreon or like a website where people kind of support what you do?
I do. Yeah. Yep. So I will Discord, and that's the easy to talk to me. So like when you, you DM'd me on Twitter, Scary, when you reached out to set up this little meeting, you DM'd me on Twitter, which is not the worst way of contacting me, but it's kind of low on the list. But the
I'm
the
classy that way,
easiest
you
way
see.
to talk to Brent as a person is via Discord.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah,
but
Discord. I'll make sure I put
yeah,
some. I make sure I put some links in
if
the
you're
comments and stuff as well for folks to.
exposed to Brent of Goobertown for the first time here, just go check out the YouTube channel. Yeah, see what I'm getting up to.
I love it. I also love that you have no shame in like editing your cat into your videos. It's fantastic. I love it so
You
much.
can't keep him out,
It's
and
so good.
yeah, spoilers, but Snuffles is sitting like right behind the webcam right now, and so
It's great. I would love to have my cats
uh,
hanging
this
around in the
this could
studio.
change drastically at any moment. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
but
definitely, I definitely have. I wouldn't. I usually let my cats down here like every once in a while. You know, he probably comes sit in my lap. But recently, they've gone on a trend of like grabbing my models and running away with them, and like literally like
oh,
stealing my models and like playing with them and thinking they're like toys. So like I'll walk upstairs and I'll find like my character that I've been painting like under a table. I'm like, you little jerks.
I was actually just commenting the other day. I was like, it's like my puppy just knew that he would be in so much trouble if he stole like the miniatures off the shelf, because like they're all at his level. He's like a big boy, but he's never stolen one. And like now that he's an adult dog, I feel like we dodged a huge bullet, because
He's
yeah, he's
learned.
never stolen. Yeah, like he's never even really tried to
Yeah.
steal any of my miniatures. And like there's so many guardsmen right there at puppy level. But yeah,
So Brent, how did
hashtag
yeah.
blessed.
hashtag bless you?
Sometimes they know.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can just look at them. You'd be like, cat, and they're like, whoop. You're
Uh-huh.
like, I
Uh-huh.
know what I've done.
I do it again.
Yeah, yeah. Human. Yeah. So Brent, what got you? How long have you been doing hobby stuff? Painting, modeling, like what?
Yeah, so I started around age 13 or so, somewhere
Hmm.
in there. And like many people, I took a little break for most of my 20s and then I came back. So,
Hmm.
um, for me, I started with the third edition 40K, and
Hmm.
so that was obviously Dark Eldar and Black Templars.
Yep, yep. I knew I liked
And
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, we have a lot to talk about here, Sky. We Um, and then my friends and I, like in middle school, high school, we swapped back and forth pretty regularly between 40K and fantasy. And so I played greenskins, orcs and goblins, and most importantly, the snotlings
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
Warhammer Fantasy.
Hmm.
Um,
Pump wagons were like the thing.
oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I loved the fanatics in the Night Goblin unit and the
Hmm.
pump wagon. And so
Yep.
I was always up against my friend Alex's Bretonians, and it was always a question of, how many knights could the Night Goblin fanatics with their big balls and chains and the pump wagon, how many kills could they get before the knights got their charge off?
Yep. Those fanatics were definitely not like I played Bretonians back then before I played my Tomb Kings. Fanatics were definitely on the list of must not, must send peasant guys up to every unit to try and draw out the fanatics
For sure.
first. um, Hello, Rob. And Sindri says, Cat looks back at you, swats the model off the table. If only.
Uh,
Hmm. Hello, Zambies. How are you? Thanks for coming to hang out with us
hey,
today.
Zambies.
Which is awesome. So you've been on and off. Now, do you consider yourself more of a painter than a player? Or do you just play for
Yeah, much
fun?
much more of a painter than a player. Um, uh, Early on, I didn't really know the difference and didn't consider that question much. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that I play a couple times a year just as an excuse to kind of to build the units and kind of structure the army. It's like a
Yeah,
framework and a justification for getting these minis out there.
yeah.
And for me, the best part of the game is setting all the units up on the table and taking a look at your opponent's army and that kind of stuff.
So like that
Um,
immersive, like cinematic vision sort of thing.
yeah, yeah. Like the more I think about it, I think the height of the hobby is armies on parade. Like
Right.
getting an awesome looking force on a sweet display board. I think that's super sweet. And I don't know. The game, at least the Warhammer game, is frequently disappoint and upset and enrage me. But just from the start of the game, the best part of the game is putting your units out on the board and making them look cool. But recently, when I've been playing 40K with my friends, you start the game by hiding all of your units behind a house, and on
Yep.
the other side of the map, you hide the rest of your units behind a rock. And some of your units aren't on the table yet, and that's like the correct way to play. And by
Or
correct, I mean
they
if you don't
all
play that way,
die.
you lose on turn one. So,
Correct.
yeah. um, and so the game kind of
Yeah, if like you want to win the game or play the game, it's like counterproductive to like how it should feel in a lot of ways, like from a narrative perspective, right? Like it doesn't connect very easily or very well.
makes the
Having a having a little bit of a
models
connection issue with
less
Brent every
fun
once in a while.
because it encourages you just to hide behind fun. And if
Yeah.
things go downhill, I've got alternate computers. We've got backup plans. Don't worry. The show will go on.
The show will go on.
It will. It will. But no, I'm much more of a painter than a player. And every once in a while, I do check out some other games, and but again, even with most games, like I'd rather play the game on a computer and just kind of have the excuse of like I also like to paint the minis, and here's what the minis look like.
Right. So do you
So
ever play like Warhammer Total War or whatever? Like
oh yeah,
yeah, oh, I love that
oh
game.
yeah, I've been a fan of the Total War series for a long time, and I think the Warhammer trilogy is or some of the best games in that series. So yes, absolutely.
I can spend way too much time on those games. I will literally lose
Yeah.
entire I will lose entire weeks. I'll dress up in a little toga and I'll be like, I'm a Roman, and then I'll play like Rome Total War or Rome 2 Total War for like a week straight. And I'll
Oh,
like
Uh,
look, Scari's playing Total War again. Goes off to work, comes back 8 hours later. Oh, look, he's still playing Total War.
of course,
bad.
of course.
It's adorable.
It's a fun series. It really is. So what do you main? What when you're starting a new campaign on
Oh,
Warhammer Total War?
I play
What are you
Tomb
starting with?
Kings mainly with Cetra.
Okay.
Like
Okay.
Cetra Tomb Kings is like my jam. Even though like they crumble a lot faster than I would hope, right? But it just like I have a whole Tomb King army. And so I just love seeing all the little skeletons. And ever since Age of Sigmar was a thing, I've been like craving, you know, I've been craving playing Tomb Kings for all the mainly the skeleton bowmen. Like if you love like fantasy, right? Like there's nothing like skeletons and skeleton warriors and skeleton archers and stuff. That's such an iconic sort of like feel. As much as
Oh yeah.
I'm impartial to the whole Egyptian theme. Like I don't care if they're like Egyptian or Norse or whatever it is, as long as there's like
Okay.
skeletons that have bows or crossbows or what. Like it's just like I don't know. There's something about it that's like just inherently evil, and it's so cool, and all that stuff. Yeah. Um,
Interesting.
how about
Yeah.
yourself?
Well, on the Tomb Kings topic, for me it's the teal or the aquamarine, the color, the accent color that goes with the
Mm-hmm.
bone. That's what I love about
Nice.
Tomb Kings is the color palette of it all, or of like a lot of the traditional color schemes. But in Total War, uh, I often go with Kroq-Gar. Very frequently,
Nice.
I start up a Kroq-Gar campaign,
Lizards.
and I think I think the second game, Warhammer 2, is the best one in the series.
That's the one I play mainly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
I feel like I'm not allowed to play that because I'm not allowed to play Civilization and stuff like that because then I turn into like Scary and it's like 8 hours later, what have I done with my life? So I think it's just better if I keep it out of my house.
that is one of the reasons I never really got into World of Warcraft.
Smart.
Wise. Very wise. Yeah.
Smart.
I only ever played World of Warcraft because I had a friend who basically gave me the whole like 10-day free trial like back in the day when it was like brand new or whatever. And so I'd literally just play multiple 10-day free trials from like different friends that give me like the code for 10 days or whatever. And I'd literally just
Really?
play for like
Okay.
10 days at a time. And that was it. Like I'd play for 10 days and I wouldn't have a life for 2 weeks and then I would like and then that would be it. And then I'd be like, okay, because I never really understood the having to pay money to play a game, like as a subscription, right? Like it was a brand new novel thing back then. It's like you pay, but you have to like subscribe to. You have to buy the game, and then you have to install it, and then you have to pay like a monthly fee to play this game. And to me, it was like the
So,
weirdest thing. I was like, I don't like. It didn't make any sense to me back then. I was like, why do I want to do this? But I guess the system works.
so
You
when
understand it now though, right?
I
Like
do. I do.
you play competitive Warhammer, right? Is how does 15 a month sound to you now?
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah. When World of Warcraft was like at its height, and everybody was like buying the subscription cards, I was working in an electronics department of Walmart, so we sold a lot of these cards, and like I knew I was never gonna play that game because these people came in like jonesing for this card, and like some of them were
Hmm.
like upset that they had to like stop gaming to come and get the card because like nobody used their credit cards online at that time, right? So yeah, I don't know. It was just like it was crazy to me, and I was like, I can't. These people are obviously like addicted to this game, and I know my personality, so I'm just gonna stay
Yep.
off of the WoW.
Uh,
Yeah.
Catlet says Eve Online got my money for 6 years. Fond memories.
All right, there you go. Yeah, I played a little bit of EVE Online, and one of my favorite memories in all of video gaming is a time like a pirate stole my money. I just thought that was so cool. Like I accidentally tagged myself for PvP or whatever, and somebody with a much better ship than my little mining vessel came up to me and said, "Give me all your money." And I said, "Okay." And then I was like, "Oh man, this is so fun. Like this is
That's awesome.
I've never had this experience before, but I love it." Yeah.
Piracy on the high
Yeah.
seas, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's so
I
funny.
also uh, I also had a phase in my life where I was really into building computers, building PCs,
Yep.
and um, part of that was it was the point in history where three monitors all linked up was a thing and was pretty popular, and that actually works really well with Eve because you essentially triple your field of vision, or you get like a full monitor's worth of peripheral vision to the left and the right of your main screen. And so for Eve Online, you can move all your spreadsheets and all your chat boxes to the far edges to like separate monitors, and you still have the main screen to look at the pretty stars and nebulae and asteroid belts and all that. And no, that was a lot of fun to get the three screens going there with Eve Online, and luckily I didn't get crazy addicted to it. But for a couple of weeks, I'd go and mine my little asteroid belt and sell my wares back at the space station, and pirates would steal stuff from me. It was pretty good. I liked it. It was good.
uh,
All
yeah,
my
that
hard
actually sounds
work.
fun.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
sounds really entertaining.
Yeah.
I think the highlight for my sort of like gaming, computing gaming career thing was um, when Dawn of War came out
Okay.
originally,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that was like, I think I guess when I was in high school, I got to make my own computer rig as well. I guess that was just a thing we did back then. A lot of us did. I haven't done it in a while, but running that game was like priority. You know what I mean? Like I just had to run that game really well. So I remember playing a lot of Dawn of War, and we'd literally get like 6 or 8 friends, and we'd all go to the local cyber cafe, and we'd
Yep.
like skip school on like Fridays, and like show up when it opened at like 10 a.m. and stay till like 11 o'clock at night just playing computer games. That's what. Yes, it was
Nice.
very fun. That or we'd pull out Risk and we'd all play at the cyber cafe. We'd play Risk on the like counter at the front, and we'd all just like beat each other up. And we play like hard, like competitive Risk. It was really funny.
Nice.
hmm
Nah, Risk is a good one if you can get some pals around for a multi-day event.
Have you
Yep.
ever played The Walking Dead Risk?
No. I mean, I imagine they're all kind of similar, right?
Yeah,
Or maybe not.
so this one is like Risk, right? Like, so you're trying to like, conquer your regions or whatever. But there's also like zombies spawning like all of the time. So you're trying to like destroy the zombies, but you're also trying to like deal with the other like competing players and all of this. And I've never once been able to like fully win the game. So it's usually just like a last player standing and then the zombies eat you.
Yeah, reminds me of an expansion for Axis and Allies, which is Axis and Allies and Zombies.
Okay. Yeah.
And so you're literally playing, the Second World War, except there's a zombie outbreak, you know what I mean? Because it's like somebody's trying to develop it as a super weapon or whatever, and then eventually like the zombies just take over the world. So you'll be fighting, trying to use zombies as weapons, but also zombies will like attack you and bite you and turn your guys into zombies, and it just ends up being like just total chaos and mayhem.
Man, you've got to be really dedicated not only to play Axis and Allies, but to play Axis like specialty versions of Axis and Allies.
Yeah. It's like because it's a lot less serious, you know what I mean? I feel like I
Okay.
enjoy that style more, you know, because you don't like yes, you kind of the setup is the same, like you set up everything in like the same way or whatnot, but then there's like a zombie counter where like the zombie infection rate is higher and higher, and zombies just like pop up randomly across the globe, and then you develop like new tech, but it's like specific anti-zombie tech, like meat grinders on the front of your tanks and stuff to like plow through zombies. And anyway, it's just it's rather
Amazing.
entertaining. Okay, it's just entertaining.
Okay.
Yeah, quite fun. Let's go back into chat. Says, um, I read a lot of people saying good morning, good evening, hello. If you are tuning
Good
in from
morning, good
someone,
evening.
and good night. Where's that from? Oh, that's from Bruce Almighty, isn't it? Good morning, good evening, good night.
I don't really watch stuff, so I don't know. Sounds right.
I think so. Yeah. Zambi says I played WoW way more than I should have. Addictive.
Sure.
Yep, I would agree with that statement.
Yeah.
I've had
I
a lot
only
of
had
friends that did
one
this.
roommate fail out of college because of World of Warcraft. Just one. But it
Just one.
kind of makes the point though. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had one roommate that was able to juggle becoming a doctor and playing nothing but WoW. So I guess it goes. It was. He
The
was.
life. Yep.
Yeah. He literally would come back into the dorm from like class, and he'd literally just sit at his computer playing WoW. But he ended up becoming a doctor. That's all he did.
All
So
right.
yeah.
Obviously
Um,
worked for him.
yeah. I know. Sometimes you just need that like stress relief, you know. And some people it
Hmm.
just works, right? Even though it's like all consuming, but it's like it just helps your brain process information. I don't know, it's just interesting. Humans are so interesting and weird in so many ways, in my opinion.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yep. So what's the so do you do mainly like commissions for painting, or do you paint mainly just for like the sake of painting stuff?
I paint to make cool videos, kind of. So
Right.
there's always like a ton of stuff that models I think are cool and stuff I want to paint, and like my pile of shame or opportunity or whatever is massive. It's a library of possibilities.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
but when I'm choosing projects, it is often to try to make good videos, and so
Right.
trying to pick um, either models that people are interested in, paint styles people are interested in. That's a lot of how I choose my projects. Yeah, yeah,
Allow you to showcase something basically.
yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Try and
So we asked this
my
quite.
oh,
Sorry, I didn't
go
mean
for
to
it.
interrupt.
I was just gonna say my overall philosophy on the Goobertown Hobbies channel is to try to get more people to give mini painting a try. So trying to reach as wide of an audience as possible. So I do try to be somewhat choosy and picky in my ideas for videos, and I'm very slow at making videos and making content, but the idea is always to try to go big with it and to reach a lot of eyeballs and to get people to pick up a paintbrush and just put paint on it.
Just put paint on it.
Just
That's
put paint
right.
on
That's
You
it.
hit
right.
it.
That's the philosophy. I love it because now that I'm actually following that hashtag on Instagram, I get to see lots of just put paint on it projects, which is nice. And I didn't know you could follow hashtags, and so for the
Very
longest
nice.
time I didn't follow it. Bless you.
I to- I I told you. I told you to follow the hashtag.
I know. I know, but now I've been following it for a while, so
Okay.
yeah. Um, Robert says, "Good morning, Scary. Painting your kill team cabal today? No, not today. I still have to finish building it. So I'm getting all of this little stuff out of the way so I can like clear my mind. And then I started building my kill team, the new Dark Eldar kill team. Um, and I'm really excited to paint it. But I have to make all the bases because I do like scenic bases for all my Dark Eldar now, like all the newer stuff that I've done. It's just like all built up with like ruins and like some cool stuff. And so it just adds a lot more to the character of the models. And so once this is all out of the way, I'll have like a clear mind so I can focus on what I need to do. So I don't have like a million little projects on the go. It's one of my main goals, to finish what I've started. You know what I mean? Like to just finish things more often. It's like a,
Good
It's a
luck.
good goal. It's a good
Yeah.
goal.
you know,
I'm rooting for you, buddy.
thank you. It's really it's not easy being like, ADD brain and stuff like that. It's definitely not easy. So
Of course not. Of course not.
yeah. Um. Yep. Yep. So we
How
asked
do
this.
you wait. So do you have any like I don't want to say like coping mechanisms, but do you have any sort of like tips or anything, things that you do to help you sort of manage that side of your brain? Like you have a goal and like sort of like one of the barriers to getting that goal. Do you have like a plan to overcome it?
Is that to me a question?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
your brain.
yeah. So right now it's just been like a lot of being conscious of it more than anything.
Mhm. Mhm.
So like consciously understanding that I haven't finished a project, right? And then I related a lot to like eating habits. Like recently when I've been wanting like a snack, I'm like, I go
Mhm.
into the pantry and I look at snacks, right? And I'm like, ooh, there's like chips or whatever that I could have, or like candy bar or whatever. And then I'm like, and I've started to become more conscious of that like thought process where now I'll go like, wait, I can just cut up an apple, and like eat an apple. You know what I mean? Like I'm like
Right.
trying hard to like, the same thing with hobbying. You know, it's actually one of the reasons. Like, look at this. Everybody can look at this right now because it's pretty crazy. Okay, that is
Oh, that's for this weekend.
yeah.
That's your
So
prize
that
support.
that is a lot of promotional material that Games Workshop sent me over the years. Thank you very much, Games Workshop. I love taking pictures and showing them off and talking about them. However, I don't get to most of it. So instead of it clogging it, I'm just going to give it away at the tournament I'm running this weekend, and it's just going to be like thousands and thousands of dollars worth of miniatures, just giving them away or like raffling them off or whatever it is.
Mhm.
And that's like one of the things I do to help my thought process is I like declutter, right?
Just
And
get rid of stuff.
I like try and create less like work, if that makes sense. But
Mhm.
then if I have a project like this, and I'm like, okay, I want to do my kill team stuff. So I started working on the kill team. Thank you, Robert, for like buying that set for me. I appreciate that. Um, but then I'll look at all the other stuff I have that I'm still working on. And I'll be like, okay, I need to finish something before I can like continue. So I'll like force myself to do, even if it's like a little thing like this, just sitting on my hobby table, all the little doodads. I'm like, I'm just gonna get it done and put it away, and then I can start on the next thing. And I'm getting a lot better at that thought process.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
also allowing myself to get things to a it's good enough stage, and then like being okay with it just being at that stage and not wanting to go back to do it again. Right?
Mhm.
hmm
Mhm.
Anyway,
Right
that's that.
on.
Yeah. So I have another question, Brent.
Uh-oh.
But we ask this question on the podcast often. But is there a miniature that you are like supremely proud of your painting, like your magnum opus, where you'd be like, this is like the culmination of everything I am capable of? Do you have like a miniature like that?
No. So I actually don't do that very often. That is, I don't, really try to push myself and make, not display piece or I certainly don't enter competitions. Um, Most of the minis that I do, there's something about them that I like. And so, I don't know. Probably a lot of people who know me have seen the yellow Chaos Knights, the Slaves to Darkness Force I did in yellow, and so I am that was one that tickled me. I really liked the yellow effect I was able to get there with the paint with the airbrush.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the prime pink zenithal with white, spray the yellow ink over the top,
Hmm.
and there's just kind of things like that are what tickle me. It's just like, yeah, that color turned out pretty nice, or that little feature turned out nice, and I'm lucky enough that there's normally something like that on every model, that something I can point to, like, yeah, that part's not so bad. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I'm I think I spend about 4 hours on a typical model, and I kind of reach a point where, like, oh, that's pretty good. I like that. That's done. And I often don't have the patience or the desire to kick it up to being like a 20-hour model or something like that,
Yeah.
to then be, a profile picture or anything.
Yeah. No, makes sense. That's, yeah, I totally understand that. So on the flip side, is there a miniature that you painted that you would like dread to paint again? You know, where you're like, like that miniature gave me more headaches than it was worth, sort of thing.
Well, the answer to that question is always third edition Dark Eldar Archon.
My
That's
face is your face. I literally have
yeah.
him sitting right over there, the big metal one, like
Oh,
with the
I have
giant
multiple
claw.
copies around here. Yeah, this is a old metal model, that was pretty much the only HQ choice you had if you were playing Dark Eldar. In 1999 or whatever it was,
Yep.
and it the model, he's wearing somebody else's face. Like, he's kind of like a chunky Dark Eldar lord, and he's wearing somebody else's face. So, like, the the draw of the model, like the focal point of the model, is just like a weird flappy piece of leather where his face should be, and with like kind of a couple oval eye holes, like, not centered on it.
Yeah,
And
which you can see like the actual like visor from the helmet underneath. You know, it's not even like his eyes. It's like literally his visor, and then he's got like flap on, yeah, in front. Yep.
I could never even quite tell what it was. Like, I was pretty sure there was a helmet under there, but it was hard to tell.
Yep.
And of course, very early on, like, this was one of the first models I ever painted, and it's like, does he just have a really weird face? And it probably took me years to figure out that did not start out as his face. Like that, is he just like old, like the emperor? What's going on here? Yeah.
That's a mask. Yeah, exactly. You know what? I agree with you. That's not the first thing that ever popped into my head until someone explained that it was a skin mask, and I was like, oh, now I see it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now I know.
now I
Um,
see that.
of course, now I also know how to pin a metal model, but back then, no amount of super glue would keep that scissor hand.
Nope.
His right shoulder was coming off every time he touched that model, and no quantity of super glue was able to keep that two-piece assembly together.
Oh, I do. Yeah, the good old days when Games Workshop could get away with anything. Like nowadays,
Uh,
nowadays I
okay.
don't think they could really like, you know, put like somebody else's face on somebody else's face and be like, "This is okay, kids."
I don't know.
What
Have
do you
you
mean?
read
I
some of that like Age of Sigmar lore? It's
Yeah.
like dark.
Okay,
Isn't there
fair,
like
fair.
a face mask in almost every Warcry box? Am I wrong on this? I feel like that happens a lot.
Uh, okay, fair enough,
So,
Like
fair enough.
the
yeah.
Daughters of Cain, like isn't there a unit where in the lore they like actually weld these metal masks to their face
Oh,
so
they
they
do
like can't
the
they can
slaughter
never take it
ladies or
off?
whatever. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like I feel like that's pretty dark stuff too.
yeah. Okay, granted. I recant my statement. Games Workshop is very nice, and
Yeah.
the
It's
universes we
very
play in are
wholesome.
very wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're a little lighter on the nudity these days,
Oh,
but
that
other
is
than
true. I
that,
guess that's true.
yeah,
Yeah, they did change like
yeah.
some of those old um what was it, the old demonette sculpts, for example, and like anything Slanesh, like it's still pretty
Yeah.
depraved, but it's not as like nude depraved, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Mm-hmm. 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 Wow, that's uh Do you have multiple armies that you have? Like, will you say that you have like full armies of stuff, or is it mainly?
Not full armies fully painted. No, that's one of those goals. That's a dragon I'll be chasing for another 20 years is to get some fully painted armies. And again, not that I intend to play many games with them. Just something I always thought would be cool is if I could finish painting an army. And one of these days, one of these days.
That's awesome.
So it's my goal for the year to paint all of my Night Haunt miniatures and all of my Ogre Maw Tribes miniatures. Like I'm gonna paint every single one that I have in my pile of shame, which is like actually quite a bit, but I'm gonna
I
do
believe
it.
in you. Yeah.
I've made some like pretty good progress on the ogres so far this year, and I think I'm gonna have to just go on like a Night Haunt spree. I have to paint like 500 points.
That is a spooky task.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
I'm gonna laugh
Nope. Nope. Nope.
at my
Nope. Nope. Nope.
own
Nope. Nope.
joke.
Nope. 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 Nope.
That
Nope.
makes one of us.
I'm clearly outnumbered here.
I love that Brent has my back.
The flop was funny. I enjoyed
I enjoy
watching that
watching me
fall
flop.
flat.
Thank
but-
you, thank you,
yeah.
thank you very much. That's
It's like an inside joke where he like forces these really bad jokes and tries to get me to laugh, but I just get disappointed dad face. So
if chat
yeah.
appreciates my humor, please let me know so that I don't feel sad all day. Because
I'm not watching chat, but I assume it's silent right now. Yeah.
Brother Titan says Brent.
Hello.
Robert says, I joined World of Warcraft so I could go into observer mode, tag along with my friends as they were so into WoW they would not pick up the phone.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's so sad though.
Yeah,
That's so sad.
Yeah, like I want to hang out with my friends, so I'm going to just observe them while they play. But at the same time, it's nice that you like have that problem-solving skill, to like, be like, I'm gonna just watch them while they go raid a dungeon and just sit in the chat or whatever. So that's cool.
I wished that somebody missed me so much that they'd play Warhammer with me. That would be true love right there.
That would be.
Yeah.
Catlet says, I had worked my pile down to almost nothing. Then I printed the whole February set from Mini Monster Mayhem titled Nightmare Fuel.
Now you gotta paint it all.
Now you have your
I'll do
work
it.
cut out for you, eh? That's usually how that works. I'm having way more fun than I thought painting this little, like, shrine doodad thing. This is very entertaining to me.
Doodads and thingamajigs. Who would have
Doodads
thought?
and thingy-majigs indeed. Like, it is actually really entertaining. Because I started with a color, which is like a granite color, right? And then I noticed that I could just paint little areas with the color, and it's got like little metallic sort of like bracings, so I'm going to keep those to paint them either like metal, probably like a bronze or a copper of some sort. And then the inlays that I'm painting right now, I'm like, those could be totally slabs of like marble or some other color, and it just totally brings this little shrine thing to life. And so I'm going to test it out. See, I've never painted marble before, so let's see how I can freehand some marble on here.
I've heard that people use like pantyhose to like paint marble through an airbrush, and that just like sounds like black magic to me.
Or like,
I've
what
seen
is
it
it?
done with a wool. Like you pull like a cotton ball or I don't know, wool or something like really apart so that it's super stringy and you can kind of see through it, or like cotton batting, like filler.
Dryer sheets I've seen.
Oh, sure. Anyways, like you get like a lot of fibrous, stringy, mostly see-through something, and then you put it down over black or white or gray or whatever it is, and then yeah, you airbrush through it to try to get the veins.
That is so cool.
Yeah, I saw a couple of videos on it. It looked sweet. I haven't tried it yet, but Yeah, check that out.
Is there a technique, Brent, that you have like that, for example, but a technique that you've never really sort of mastered that you feel you'd really like to try and get better at, like paints wise?
So something I'm interested in and would like to get better at is blacklining and a little bit of like what Mike Cousins does, Epic Duck, of
Mm-hmm.
the comic book style of you kind of you put your base coats down or whatever, and then where you're actually getting a ton of the interest and variety and fun in the model is when you just take out your pot of black ink and you start, tracing around the different shapes, but then you start putting in the little like hash marks and stuff to try to add depth, and like it does look like comic book style, but it looks sweet. It looks sweet.
Interesting.
Painting Myth, is that the name of an Instagram? I think Painting Myth is a Instagram account that also does that. Um, where anyway, so I've done some black lining, like you get some power armor, you paint around the armor panels with black ink, or you can do it with oil paints or panel liner washes, that sort of thing. Um, but I've been enjoying using black ink to do that, and I certainly am nowhere near a master, but like that is one of the pathways I want to spend more time wandering down is getting mastering the just using black ink to make the model look sweet. We'll get
Nice.
there. We'll get there.
Did you study art?
No, 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 no. By training, I am a chemist, and I don't know.
Do you use that
There,
in your
there are
like
useful tidbits in any profession.
yeah?
A bit, a bit. It's not useful in a ton of situations, but like I have an idea of like the type of pigments that are in paints, and I have an idea of how super glue hardens or two-part epoxy hardens. There are chemicals and chemical reactions in some of the stuff that we do, and so sometimes just understanding that on a slightly deeper level kind of helps you understand how to use your hobby products a bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but no, I have no training as an artist, and in terms of like 2D art, I can't do anything. But if someone hands me a model that has all these little shapes on it, I can color in the shapes. Maybe try to highlight some of the shapes. I can do that. That's fun. Pick some fun colors. Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, because
a
who is
little
it?
stepping stone to feeling like an artist.
Yeah, I've been using that pro. I've been using some of this Pro Acryl paint,
Oh, oh yeah.
yeah, and he was a chemist, right? Isn't that right? He mixed up the white color. Actually, I'm using that
I
white
have
right
no
now.
idea.
He was telling me the story at LVO.
Oh,
He and
cool.
he was like, he tried painting white on a miniature on stream that he was working on. He tried like 4 different whites and it wasn't working. He was frustrated, and so he decided to just go and mix a white on stream to be like, I'm going to show you how to make a real white. So he just had like the components to make this white, and
Nice.
he ended up putting it like making it, and then people being like, I'll buy that, and that's how Pro
And I
Acro
did.
started.
I hadn't heard that stories, but yeah, the Monument Hobbies
Yeah.
white is
Hmm.
they have several good whites in that line. Yeah.
That's the white I'm using right now for this little inner panel thing, and I love it because it goes so smooth, and it's just so nice.
And it doesn't
Very
turn
nice.
into cottage cheese a week after you
It
open it.
doesn't. It's like it's the same
Uh,
consistency, and I think you sent me these paints like a year ago. You know what I mean? And it's
yep.
still they haven't split or like turned into like black for some reason. I don't know why some of the GW whites like are like you look at it and it's like gray and black, and you're like, what is going on with this paint? Anyway, chemically, I'm not a chemist, so I would know. Right?
Right.
Mm.
You are a historian.
Mikey asks Brent, what is the best way to separate two pieces I glued together with Tamiya plastic cement? But if I'm shit out of luck, that's acceptable too.
Uh,
You now have one piece of plastic. That's kind of what's going on. Like it's just a solvent that partially dissolves each side of the plastic, and then the polymer chains get to weave in together and kind of become one once the solvent dries up again.
AKA, you'd have to cut it.
So a knife, and be very careful. Like you're cutting them apart again. It's not
Mm-hmm.
for that time. It's just an organic solvent that partially dissolves the polystyrene of the model plastic, and the gooey plastic is meshing with the other gooey plastic, and when the rest of that, to me, extra thin cement evaporates, you're just gonna have polymer chains all intertangled there, and you're kind of gonna have one piece of plastic,
Yeah.
which you may be able to cut apart, or like depending on how good a job you did in the initial gluing, you might be able to just brute force pull apart. But yep.
I've not had success with that.
It is
Yeah.
now a single
You
piece.
might.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that was thank you for the
Maybe
question.
models. Maybe that's the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Start over. Start fresh.
Just
That's probably how I would go with it. Feeling I guess
That
I'm
mini
gonna.
is definitely armed with a melta now, so you need
get good.
Yeah.
Get
you
get
need
good with a melta.
to get a fresh mini if you want to be armed with a combi
Yeah.
flamer. Yeah.
So I put my Cadian shock troops together and like, oh, they can take 2 plasmas. Okay, I'm gonna filch some plasmas off of this other kit over here, and no, they cannot take 2 plasmas now. So now I have to wait, buy another kit, so that they can be legal.
Yep. What do they use when they're doing like marble statues and stuff? They use like brass or bronze to like etch like the letters in and stuff. Like they like put the letters in with like a brass or bronze usually, right? Like in
Or gold leaf.
or gold. Yeah, okay, gold leaf. That makes sense. Like it's okay, cool. Because I'm thinking like if I'm gonna do it marbly and then wash it, it has to like be that color. So then I can like look at the other colors and stuff like that too. Nest says, I've had some success ripping the pieces off that I've glued with Citadel. The 2 times I've done it, it worked, but I'm not sure if I'd recommend it though.
Probably not ideal. No.
Not ideal. Not ideal.
Yeah.
The nice thing about plastic glue is it's supposed to be a very simple, elegant, permanent solution to what you're trying to do.
Key
I mean, I
permanence.
still prefer it, so I'll just buy more kits.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. Like plastic glue. Plastic glue is good stuff. That's the biggest advantage of polystyrene model kits, is that you can use plastic glue instead of messing around with super glue or whatever. But
Yeah.
I'm not
I
gonna
just
lie.
find.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I just find like living in Canada and like transporting your models to a game store in the wintertime, like you're always kind of like, is my super glue gonna hold? It's gonna hold? Being in the car?
I hadn't even thought of that issue.
Yeah, it gets so
Yeah.
cold that you like, the super like the malt expands or contracts or whatever with the heat and the cold, and then all of a sudden your like arms pop off or something, or you like
Yeah,
just
like,
put the
damn it!
model down, it's like plop, and you're like. I will
Yeah.
say though, I do prefer super glue because I'm a competitive whack
Okay.
player, right?
I was gonna say
So
petulant whack player.
yeah, petulant whack player, which means that when you need to put melta guns instead of plasma guns, I can just go pop pop pop, and then I just quickly put all the plasma guns on. So
Oh,
it's like
it hurts
so I
me.
can just like paint up 10 plasma guns and then switch them, and then an addition changes, and then everything is melta guns now, and then I just paint melta guns, and then I can glue them on with super glue, and then my army's ready to go, and I don't need and I use this thing. This, by the way, one of the best tools, there we go. This is one of my favorite tools.
Oh, I have one of those
A
too.
dental pick.
For
I
Yeah, I got one of
prying
those
things
too.
apart.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's just put it in between a joint, go pop,
Yeah.
and then it's just like it's instantly fixed. Yes, yes.
Uh,
Sindri
It's also
says
really good for like pulling dog hair off my models while I'm painting. Just gets in the
nice.
really tiny spots.
Sindri
uh-huh.
says magnets. Yes, magnets
I
would
mean,
work as well.
you could magnetize things. So I don't know. We mentioned that I don't play very often, but I get in maybe like 2 or 3 games per edition, which is
Yeah.
rough. So the only thing I try to remember is that I'm always going to take as many dark lances as I can, and I
Mm-hmm.
use those to shoot vehicles,
Yep.
and then my splinter weapons shoot at troops.
Yep.
Not not messing with magnets or dental tools for popping things off and trying to put on disintegrators or
Yeah. Yeah. At least you know that the
yeah,
disintegrator is an option.
shredders. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
shredders. I
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
can call it a blaster if I want, but I'm not putting shredders on
So you'll Marka
things. No,
Dave
no,
your
no.
army is what you're saying. You'll Marka Dave it, and
Dark
it'll be like
lances and splinter rifles as God intended, and you can glue those down and keep them there for forever.
I love it. You'll die on this hill. It'll be great. Well, we are coming towards the end of the show, Brent.
I always die, but I try to shoot a tank every once. So, okay, I mean,
Yeah.
you guys can hang up on me if you want. I'm not
No, no,
done
no,
gluing together this
no.
falconer yet.
I would love to continue the show, but it is coming to an end. So, Brent, why don't you tell everybody who's been watching and who's hung out with us so far, what project do you have coming up that people should stay tuned for? And once again, where can folks find you, and to get more Goobertown hobby goodness?
Yeah. Okay. Well, we can hype this. So just go to Goobertown Hobbies, the YouTube channel. That's the best place for me. I've got Twitter and Instagram and stuff. You can find that all through the YouTube channel. And the big project that'll be released at some point in the near future is my first ever battle report that I played against Dave from Mini Wargaming Studios. And
Yup.
we played a big old game of one-page rules, and we did it in a cinema studio that had like actual professionals and actual cameras and like robots moving cameras around and stuff. And so Dave and I played that game a couple of months ago, and the raw footage has been in the hands of professional editors since then. But I think that's actually going to come out pretty soon. So if you subscribe to Goobertown Hobbies on YouTube, you can see a uh, by a professional battle report filmed with cinema cameras, and we'll see how that goes. I don't know. I've never done a battle report before, so I'm not sure if I was entertaining during that process. And these cinema folks who mostly edit like 30-second commercials, I don't know if they they certainly didn't start knowing how to edit a battle report, but what they come up with should be interesting one way or the other. So definitely check that out on
I'm
Goobertown Hobbies. Yeah,
I'm very much looking
and
forward
see if I can
to
beat
seeing what they
Dave.
do it.
You know,
Ooh,
I know
no
whether or not I
spoilers.
can beat Dave, but it's gonna.
I love it. No spoilers though, because we're gonna go sub. We're gonna make sure we keep an eye out for it. I cannot wait to see what comes from that. Of course, I'll be putting a link to Goobertown Hobbies down in the comments, so make sure you check them out. Oh,
Hello.
oh, there you are.
Oh,
Your
hey.
Is it
camera
time to
decided
say goodbye now? Okay.
your camera decided to cut out on us.
You can't see the faces I'm making.
No, I wish we could see the faces you're making. That would be perfect. It would be great. Um,
Mm.
but yes,
Well, maybe next time.
I'll definitely make sure that I put the link to Goobertown Hobbies. Brent, thank you so much for coming on. This has been an absolute pleasure. I've had so
Right
much
on. This
fun
has been
chatting the
great.
painting. You're welcome on anytime.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, Tanya, why don't you remind people where folks can find you before we finish up for the day?
Okay, well, you can find me on Forge the Narrative podcast, but we are going to be taking a little bit of a vacation because Paul has been doing it for 10 years and he just needs a bit of a vacation. So we're
Mm-hmm.
taking a couple months off and then, well, maybe less than 2 months, but that's like the max. And then we'll be right back at it with new episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be doing some live streams in the meantime. So go and follow us over on Forge the Narrative on YouTube. And then you can get notifications for when we do our live streams. And you can also find me on Instagram. That's where I post most of my hobby. I do a little bit on Twitter. I do my own YouTube channel as well, where I do really short rules explanations for Warhammer 40K. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Awesome. Well,
Mm.
Brent, Tanya, thanks for coming to hang out. It has been a fantastic season 4 of Just Put Paint on It. Don't forget to use the hashtag to share all your hobby progress. Of course, we'll be back with season 5 with another lineup of amazing guests and some people we've seen before, some brand new people from around the hobby. So stay tuned for that, which will be coming later in the year. So make sure you stay tuned for that because it's really fun. I might be doing some one-off Just Put Paint on It shows in between with specific guests and things like that as well. So stay tuned for that. Of course, Tanya and I will more than likely coordinate and figure that out. Of course, thanks a lot for hanging out. I've been Scary, your grateful host. This has been Tanya and Brent.
Take care, everyone.
At least the voice of Brent as we finish. Other than that, you're all amazing. Love you all. And don't forget to be nice to each other. Ah, the dark kin. Bye, everybody.
and just put paint on it.
Yes, that too. That too. Hashtag. Or pintalo,
That's
as
right.
they say in Espanol. Bye.
Bye
See you.
bye.